if we're ranking these three teams of most panic, pretty big problem for the Buffalo Bills, the fact that they can't run the ball at all.
Good Lord, what's going on with the Rams? I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen a healthy Zeke, Amari, and CD Lamb all in the field all at the same time.
Look at the release.
There's your separation.
Great route.
Stutter and go. Gets by clean.
That is unbelievable.
Maybe the greatest catch I've ever seen.
There are three teams that I thought we came into the preseason and said, okay, we're banking these offenses, man. Just put it in the bank. They're good. Not worried about them. You want pieces of this offense, blah, 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 blah. Bills, Cowboys, Rams. And right now, those three offenses, I don't want to say they're kind of sort of scuffling a little bit, aren't they? Like, you know, Bills from a real life perspective certainly are Jekyll and Hyde, but their offense too. It's kind of sort of, I don't really know what to make of it. I mean, hell, hey, listen, I think Sean McDermott's trying to figure it out. Like all of a sudden, Zach Moss is a scratch. Matt Breida brought him from the practice squad. They're trying to find something. They're trying to find something in Buffalo.
Pretty big problem for the Buffalo Bills, the fact that they can't run the ball at all. I mean, though, at the same time, like for your two guys, like I'm not worried at all about Steph Diggs. I'm not really worried about Josh Allen. I know he's had some dud games, but like I still think he's a top 5 quarterback. You look at Stefon Diggs too. Like the touchdowns have started to come to the point where he's a clear top 7-8 receiver in fantasy right now from just a pure scoring perspective. He spends so much time not finding the end zone down there, like wide receiver 22, 24. Now he's up there, like where we expected him to be. So I'm not so much worried about, I think of these three offenses we're talking about, I think the Bills are the one I'm worried about the least. From an offensive success rate perspective too, since week 8, they're still number 3. So among this group of teams, they are by far the best still right now.
I did want to add one caveat to that though. Early season returns on Emmanuel Sanders, I think, are just now kind of sort of done with, right? Like they're working in Taylor Gabriel a little bit more. It seems like the passing volume is coming down. Gabriel Davis. And I think I
was going to say Taylor Gabriel. Let's not push it.
Wow. Taylor Gabriel. Wow. What a weird reference that. Okay. I don't know where.
Hey, shout out to, I will say, he's not watching this, but shout out to Taylor Gabriel that once did slide into my DMs because he was not, he was upset that he was not, I ranked the top 10 free agent receivers for NFL.com many, many moons ago. And he was upset. He wasn't on it. And he was like, he's like, this is motivation, man. I'm a trust me. Like I got you this year. Draft me in your fantasy league. I mean, didn't really work out, but
I don't think it was.
Shout out to Taylor Gabriel though. Nice.
Hey,
nice
there you go. Yeah, cool. But
he's no guess.
Overall, we feel great about Stefon Diggs. You talk about the touchdowns. He's got 6 touchdowns over his last 6 games, which is great. And here he is. He's a top 6 fantasy wide receiver after spending the first half of the season kind of sort of, outside the top 10, outside the top 15 in some ways, right? So, so he's been great. And so now we're kind of sort of back to, okay, we trust Josh Allen. We trust Diggs. The running backs we don't trust whatsoever.
Can't play any of them.
And we trust
Dawson
Knox.
Dawson Knox. Yeah, buddy. We trust Dawson Knox.
The dude's got 7 touchdowns. What the hell? Dawson Knox.
I mean,
what is going on?
He's almost never going to be like a volume guy, but like you can trust the touchdowns. Like he's a top 8 tight end rest of the season for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. Kind of the Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley era for the Bills that's not great right now.
Yeah, it's just a weird mixed bag. I feel like Dawson Knox also returning also hurts.
Agree.
Cole Beasley as well.
Cole Beasley, for sure.
Yeah. So anyways, so it's kind of sort of concentrated now with the Bills. Whereas before, early in the season, it was just wide open. It's like, oh, Zach Moss, throw him in there. Emmanuel Sanders, great, let's do it. It's like we got them all. Let's play all these guys. But no, it's like at this point now we're down to trusting 2 guys, and it's 2 guys we trusted last year. In Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs. All right, but what about those 2 other offenses, man? I mean, I think in particular the Rams too. Good Lord, what's going on with the Rams?
Rams, from a fantasy perspective, I would put if we're ranking these 3 teams of most panic from a fantasy perspective, I think I'm the second least. They're behind Buffalo, but ahead of Dallas in terms of fantasy worries overall. So. Still since week 8, the Rams though are 25th in EPA per play on offense, and they are this is good stuff right here. They're 16th in drive success rate. So not great. I mean, they're that is not what we were expecting.
No, that's
and I
below average.
I don't want to kind of yada a 3-game losing streak, especially when the 3 games they lose came against good teams. The Titans got them because they could rush the passer, all that stuff. The 49ers got them because like Kyle Shanahan, he owns Sean McVay, like these teams always, and they just like beat them up, because the 49ers, who you disrespected earlier, by the way, number 1 in EPA per play.
Without Debo. I'm saying without Debo. My bad. My bad. Without Debo. I'm saying they're not good without Debo. That's all. Okay, go.
I get it. But the 49ers like come in and kick their ass, division game, whatever. But then like the Packers, and then there's these reports about Matthew Stafford with the elbow injury and the chronic back pain. It's like, and as I said earlier, and as I always say, ain't nobody used to have a bad back. Like once you got a bad back, you got a bad back. And like, I'm sure he's thinking about the bad back if that's a thing. And like, I'm like I said, from a fantasy perspective, Cooper Kupp's going to give you like the best floor in the game. And, he's 90 yards every week, 7 catches, set it and forget it. Beckham did at least get integrated last week. He got a big play, looked really good there. Kind of wish they would bring back some of like the zone running and like, really establish the run with Darrell Henderson and maybe even Sony Michel. I don't know. So, but I'm a little nervous. I'm nervous about the Rams as a team. In fantasy, I'm a little less concerned, but still mildly concerned.
I think the 2 things the Rams need to do. First of all, they need to run the ball more. I don't know, in better spots. I guess more is not the right way to say it. It's just better, like play calling. They need to integrate the run earlier. I don't think more is definitely not. I'm not thinking more. I'm just thinking like let's get him into better spots so that Matt Stafford doesn't feel like he's got to make these plays. Matt Stafford, I don't know what needs to happen, but he needs to get warmed up or something. Like he is so bad in the first quarter and then picks it up. As the game wears along, and maybe that kind of does speak to a sore back. But the other thing I think they just need to do, and this is an extension of the run game, but they just need to get the ball to Cooper Kupp earlier. They're waiting way too long to get Cooper Kupp the ball. A lot of his fantasy production, especially in 2 of the last 3 weeks, have come late. Against Tennessee, a lot of it came in garbage time. Almost all of it came in garbage time. And then this week against Green Bay too, it's like we were waiting until the second half to see Cooper Kupp. So I think the Rams would just be in a better spot if they ran the ball more or in better spots rather, and just gave the ball to Cooper Kupp earlier in the game. Just get the drives going and march down the field a little bit. They're way too dependent on these big plays, man. It's just not working. Okay, so the last team on that docket. How about the Dallas Cowboys, though? I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of a weird situation. I don't know if it's their offense, but the bottom line is they need to get healthy, right, Matt? Like, yes. I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen a healthy Zeke, Amari, and CeeDee Lamb all in the field all at the same time.
And Michael Gallup, too. Gallup just gets back, and then all of these guys get hurt. Dalton Schultz is at least still out there. But, yeah, I agree. They're not at 100%, which is why I feel like from a fantasy angle, I'm a little worried about them just because about the Zeke health and I'm sure CeeDee Lamb will be back this week. Amari Cooper is supposed to pass his tests and be fine COVID wise after missing 2 games. Mike McCarthy is not. Mike McCarthy's in the COVID protocol. I mean, they've got they've got COVID issues too. Does Dallas a lot of testing issues there? I think they'll be fine. They shouldn't have lost that game to the Raiders on Thanksgiving, but it is what it is. And yeah, I mean, it's just a question about health with Zeke. And then the worst case scenario for fantasy would be they keep trotting Zeke out there, but they limit his workload. And then it's like a 60-40 split with Pollard. Like what you'd want is just like, all right, if you're going to rest Zeke, because like you're gonna win the NFC East, you're gonna go to the playoffs. Like Jalen Hurts has an injury now too, so the Eagles were looking kind of cute. No, forget it. Like
no.
The Cowboys are gonna win the NFC East.
What was that game? Oh my Lord, that game was disgusting. Jesus.
Our guy Jalen Reagor. I have often said about reception perception that it's much better at telling you who's good than who is bad. It told us how bad Jalen Reagor is.
Very good.
Anyways, yeah,
so there you go.
I'm not that panicked about Dallas. Like when they're right, they're right. And they play Washington twice. They play the stupid Giants. They play the Eagles last week of the season.
It sounds like from a fantasy perspective, Bills, Cowboys, Rams, not worried. They're going to get there. They'll be fine. Real life, okay, maybe we have a couple beers and talk about it, right? So, but that's different than fantasy. Okay, so Bills, Cowboys, Rams, I think we'll be fine from a fantasy perspective. And I kind of sort of agree with you there, although the Rams are a little bit more interesting
troubling
to me. Yeah, a little bit more troubling to me, but we'll see.